Hello everyone. Today we're going to show you how we hand dip in small batches our taper candles. This is with Greg today.
Hey everybody.
We also have our trusty companion as always. Above her you can see our older wax melters. We needed to do a lot more volume, so we recently added a really large wax melter that's temperature controlled and really helps in the dipping process as well. So Greg, tell us how we previously dipped before we purchased this melter.
Well, we were, you kind of throw back to pioneer days. We were outside using a camp stove and a tub of water and a big metal tube with wax in it, and really was very dependent on weather. I mean, if it was not 75 degrees and somewhat partially cloudy to sunny, we just couldn't dip, and to keep up with demand, we had to figure out another option. And so we got this temperature controlled monster that holds about 50 pounds of wax, and that's probably the only downside to it. It does take a lot of wax to do this, but it makes dipping so much more efficient.
So we start with just basically a string of wick. So tell me the process.
Well, the process is I got to start thinking about when am I going to dip, because it's based on how much wax we have. With the volume we're doing right now, and this taking 50 pounds, I've got to make sure you've got enough wax to do your luminaries and your other poured candles. And so we just happened to get a big batch of wax in, and so I thought I might as well do some dipping. And so luckily I've got enough wax in here to probably do somewhere between 12 to 24 12-inch tapers, and probably 20 to 30 10-inch tapers out of this one batch of wax, and then leave the rest for you for luminaries and poured candles and all the other crazy stuff that you got going on.
So you don't actually dip 24 at a time. How many are you typically dipping?
I normally dip 10 to 12 at a time. Part of that is because it will wear on your shoulders just a little bit, but it also goes back to quality control and the nature of our business. We want to make sure that we have a very consistent type of product. Now, I know some people use a larger jig and maybe will do 6, 12, or whatever these candles at a time. But what I found is that sometimes the wax does not adhere to every single candle the exact same width, and I might be done and have one set of candles that I've got to dip once or twice more just to make sure that they come out to be about the same size.
Okay, I'm going to come around you just to reach up and show what you're doing.
Right now I'm priming the wick. The first dip is obviously the longest. If you can, I doubt that you can see on video, but there's bubbles from the wax coming up as the wax soaks into the wick to make sure that it's got a nice solid core. So I will not typically hold a candle in here for that long after this first dip.
Okay, so after those bubbles disappear, the wick's ready to start to dip.
Yeah, it starts adding wax to it. It'll take anywhere from 12 to 14 dips to make a complete set of candles. And really, it's what we do at the very end is that we're measuring the bases to make sure that they're all about the same size, so that you're always getting, pardon me as I come over here into my hand-built hanging contraption.
Nice little clothes hanger, huh?
Well, we weren't using it for clothes. And I couldn't get the treadmill in here to hang stuff onto because we don't use the treadmill either. So this works out pretty well.
All right, so we're gonna stop here and come back when you have the candles showing a little bit of normalcy here, where they show that you've built up the wax to make a candle.
All right, come on back later and we'll show you where we're at.